Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. A lot of conversation about what the GOP is doing with regard to immigration. I want to talk about that here in just a second. Some more information coming out about the Newtown shooter, that Adam Lanza, the young man that went off and killed 26 people, 20 students and 6 teachers there in Newtown, Connecticut. They've been releasing some more information about some of what was going on in his life. Here's the first paragraph from CNS News. The state's attorney report on the horrific murders at the Sandy Hook Elementary School by shooter Adam Lanza found no conclusive motive for his actions, but did document unsettling facts about the 20-year-old killer, including computer files he kept on the rights of pedophiles, a movie about man-boy love, instant messages concerning homosexual fantasies, and numerous mass murder documents. There was also a writing document entitled Love Bound, which is described as a screenplay or a script describing a relationship between a 10-year-old boy and a 30-year-old man, and that script apparently was written by Adam Lanza. I don't know if you saw this story. You know, Barack Obama's written openly about having a pot dealer by the name of Raymond Boyer, referred to him as Gay Ray, so apparently his sexual orientation was well known at the time. He's the one that provided Barack Obama and his buddies with their marijuana. He was the head of the Choom Gang, did the roof hits off the closed windows of the van and all that kind of thing. Well, he was murdered about 7 years after Barack Obama graduated from high school and moved on. This is like in 1986 when this happened. And now we have some of the details about what happened to Barack Obama's marijuana dealer. He was beaten to death with a claw hammer by his homosexual lover. Apparently, Boyer refused to give his gay lover, who was also a gay prostitute apparently, money for drugs. They had an argument, and his homosexual lover beat him to death with a claw hammer. So another example of domestic violence in a homosexual relationship. In Uganda, there was a famous homosexual activist. He likewise died, was murdered, and immediately the media blamed it on conservatives, blamed it on those who were opposed to the normalization of homosexuality. They did this, or they created the climate. Well, it turns out that he was beaten to death with a hammer, again, same deal, by his gay lover, and it was over a dispute over drugs, and there is a well-known connection between homosexual behavior and extensive drug use. Then one other news item, and this gives you an idea of the value system of the left. Environmentalists are rallying to the defense of an anti-fracking activist who has advocated pedophilia and incest after a Pennsylvania court barred her from entering any land owned or leased by a local oil company. Her name is Vera Scroggins. She's now become a hero to the environmental movement. But this is a woman that was an active proponent of incest between parent and child and pedophilia. Back not too long ago, about a decade or so ago, she expressed her desire for parents to engage their children sexually at a young age. But that's okay. The environmentalists are okay with that. They're down with that because she is against fracking. So that gives you a mindset into what they consider their number one priorities. Now, back to this immigration thing. And Rob, let's have clip number 2, the Ted Cruz clip. You know, there's a question about what the Republican Party is thinking. I've got a piece here by Sean Trendy, I think, on Real Clear Politics. And I had a hard time kind of understanding the whole thing, but Sean Trendy, and I'd be curious what you think their motivation is. I've suggested over the last couple of days what I think it is. By the way, Boehner's already backing away from this thing. And I think it's because of the blowback from conservatives like you and me that are contacting our congressmen and saying, what are you thinking about amnesty and immigration? Remember, John Boehner's been out in front of this deal. He's been pushing it. We're going to get it done. And then at this closed-door meeting with the other Republican members of the House, he's saying yesterday, well, I'm actually not committed to moving forward on immigration. Said that behind closed doors, and he surprised the people that were in the room because they thought that Boehner was gung-ho for this thing, and I think the reality is there has been so much blowback on this against Boehner that he realizes, look, I better backtrack on this deal. And the GOP was saying, look, we're not going to have a vote on the House floor until after the primary season's over. Now, why is that? Why are they waiting till after the primaries to have a vote on this? Because they know that they will get hammered by the grassroots. They will get hammered by conservatives. They will get hammered by the base. They will get hammered by the Tea Party. And what will happen is if they vote for amnesty before the primary election, anybody who votes for amnesty will be guaranteed a primary challenge. Somebody will step forward and challenge them simply on the basis of principle. And they know this. They know that amnesty is exceedingly unpopular with the base, and that's why they're going to wait till after the primary elections to even bring this thing forward. And I think that's why Boehner's so tentative yesterday. Now, Sean Trendy says the first reason they did it, there are 5 different theories, he says. One is they're worried about the Hispanic vote, and I think that's part of it. They're trying to pander. This is ridiculous. I mean, you cannot out-pander liberals when it comes to appealing to the Hispanic vote. It's a fool's errand. 75% of Hispanic immigrants like big government. 88% of them, according to Pew, will vote Democrat if they get the chance. I mean, this is a suicide mission. This is Harry Curie on the part of the Republicans if they think this is going to do anything to help them with the Hispanic vote. The second possible reason, Chamber of Commerce wants it. That's what I think this is. I think it's just all about money. I think the Chamber of Commerce are going to spend $50 million taking out Tea Party candidates in the primary election. And they've told the GOP, the ruling class Republicans, look, if you will do amnesty, we want all this cheap labor. If you'll give us cheap labor, we'll pour money into your campaign chests and we'll take out your opposition. So I think that's what this is about. It's about money and about preserving power. A third possible reason, it's some kind of a trap for the Democrats that John Boehner's just outsmarting them, drawing them into a trap, going to make them look foolish. I have a hard time even following that, and I do not think the Republican leaders are that smart, frankly. Then they're saying they don't want this to succeed. It's just a PR push. They're trying to send a message to Hispanics, we're on your team, and all that stuff. Again, I'm not sure they're smart enough to know how to play a cagey game like that. And then the fifth possibility, it says, look, they're actually afraid of winning. The Republicans are afraid of winning. They're on the verge of winning, and it makes them uneasy. It makes them nervous. They don't know what they'll do with political power. And so they get tentative because they're afraid they'll win. And then they'll be in charge, and then they'll be accountable for what they do with that political power. And it makes them all nervous. It makes them uptight. And then they think, well, ooh, man, maybe we ought to be careful about this. Maybe we ought to be willing to lose some seats. We still want to protect their power, but we want it to be a close call so people won't feel like we've got a mandate and then have to go out and represent conservative values. So that sounds to me, again, a tad too sophisticated for how smart I think the Republican leadership is. But that's his suggestion. He devotes a fair amount of time to it. The reason they're going amnesty is they're actually afraid of winning. It's basically an intentional, deliberate act of self-sabotage. They want to keep themselves from winning. So all they can, because they still want to sit on the sidelines and just carp and gripe and moan and complain and point the finger. They don't actually want political power because then they will be expected to make changes. Now here's Ted Cruz, clip number 2, and then we'll go to the phones, 888-589-8840. Ted Cruz talking about why immigration amnesty a bad idea for the Republicans.
Well, Peter, I think it would be a mistake if House Republicans were to support amnesty for those here illegally. In my view, we need to secure the borders, we need to stop illegal immigration, and we need to improve and streamline legal immigration. As you know, one issue I fought very hard for is increasing H-1B visas. I introduced an amendment to increase the number of temporary high-skilled workers, H-1B visas, 5-fold, from 65,000 to 325,000. Every Senate Democrat on the Judiciary Committee voted against that. I think those are the sort of reforms we ought to be looking at on immigration, securing the border, improving legal immigration. Amnesty would be a mistake.
So Ted Cruz saying, look, I like these HB1 visas, and I'm down with that because these are high-skilled people. These are people that bring something to the table. They are people that are going to enrich the American technology sector. They're going to enrich the American economy. They have skills, education, talents that they bring to America that will enrich this country. And that ought to be the sole consideration that we have for immigration. Is this individual, if we bring him into our culture, will he enrich this culture? Will he add something to what it means to be an American? All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to David, White House, Texas. David, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Great week of broadcasting. I just want to say thank you that the Lord Jesus is on the throne.
Amen.
A comment and a question and a proposal. My comment is that people can take as many holidays from school as they want to, whatever religion they are, take the day off, great with me. Number two, a proposal. It would be so nice if another Grammy star would sing that song as a show of solidarity for what's right.
Yeah.
And then my question is, what other country has open border policy besides the United States and doesn't defend their borders? So I'll leave you with that, Brian. Have a great weekend.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Listen, I appreciate that call, David. Thank you. You know, the only place where they've got anything remotely like open borders is in the European Union. Now, I understand that there are laws or rules that do not allow people to come into cross the borders of the European Union without permission. But the way the EU is structured is once people get inside the border of any European Union nation, they can go anywhere they want. And so you've got the UK now. They're awash in refugees because where are these people are going to go? Where are they going to gravitate to? They are going to gravitate to the states that are most economically prosperous. They are going to gravitate to the states that have the most highly developed welfare states where they can get as many free goodies as possible. So the UK is just awash in these immigrants who have snuck across the border into Greece mostly. They come like across the Aegean Sea there from Turkey, and they sneak into Greece. I mean, Greece is looking at putting up a wall. And the European Union said, look, you guys got to put up a wall. We're getting overrun by refugees from these Islamic countries that we didn't invite here. They didn't come in legally. But once they get in, they can go anywhere they want. And so the European Union now, I mean, they are realizing the folly of open immigration and open borders. They have no control over the people that are coming into their lands. It's changing the demographic makeup and the culture of their host nations. They're not liking it. Focal Point AFR Talk.